Well, hello friends, welcome to our new channel. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're jumping over from my Megan Blakelie homemaking channel, welcome back friends. I'm so excited for everything that is going to take place in the near future, take place on this channel, I hope for quite a long time. This is something that my husband and I have been talking about recently because homesteading and things on the outside of our home is something that takes up such a large chunk of my time. It holds such a dear place in my heart. And from the months of about March until October, that is so much of where my brain is. However, time and time again, I have seen that my audience on my Megan Blakelie channel just really prefers me to be inside the walls of my home, which is totally fine because I love to be there as well. But I'm very excited about this. My husband and I were talking one day and said, you know, it's just really challenging because I do have so much of my time spent outdoors during the nicer months. And he was like, well, you could just start another channel, you know, if like you have the time and put in the work to create extra content. Like if it's something that you really are passionate about and you want to share it, there's no one stopping you from doing another channel. And so I was like, yeah, but you know, this is a lot of work. But the more that I've thought about it, the more I'm just getting excited about garden season, excited about working on things around our yard. And now I'm like, okay, but you have to come in with me on some of the content. So hopefully I can rope him in from time to time. I'm really excited about a Simply Homesteading channel. We do come at it from the perspective of lower income, as well as we only live on an acre. So my hope in this is that a lot of people will find this relatable, will find this maybe encouraging, and maybe it could be like a gentle motivation for some people who have been wanting to explore homesteading, wanting to dabble in it and start to get their feet wet, but just did not feel like that was a possibility or like didn't know where to start. So we are by no means advanced in this. We are not experts. We are just a few years in and we're still like slowly building upon things. We are very busy with other things throughout the majority of the year. My husband works full-time. He's in law enforcement. I had scheduled for both work and for sleep. And then I currently work at the half-day preschool where my daughters attend. And so by the time we get home, we kind of do like a quiet time in the afternoon. And then about half the nights of the week, we have evening activities. So it's not something where like we have all day or huge chunks of time to commit to these things, but that's why I want to share it, because as much as I would love for that to be the case, it's just not been up until now, and it's still been very doable for us. We do have two daughters. One is about to turn 3 and one is 4 years old, so we stay busy with that in and of itself. But now that you know a little bit about us, I just wanted to give you a tour of our property, kind of show you some of the things we have started over the last couple of years and the things that we will be starting back up in the very near future. So first off, I just want you to know that we live on the corner of two fairly busy roads, and that will play into some of the cars driving by that you might hear in the background. Thought y'all would enjoy those shoes. Told you my husband would make an appearance at some point. I do want to get a lot of landscaping done, which I hope will be featured here on this channel, because we moved in here 3 years ago this June. And do not judge me because I have a rotten pumpkin right there. Hey Roger. He's like our little puppy dog. We don't have a dog, but we have Roger the rooster, and he's honestly better. He doesn't require nearly as much work as a dog. Anyways, I have all of these dead mums because I loved the way that the container flower garden concept showed up right here. These were on my porch and I just needed to get them out of the way, so I put them there and I really liked it. So I think in the next couple of weeks, as it gets consistently warmer, I'm going to put flowers in containers all across through here is my hope, and then that'll add a nice little pop of color to our neutral home. I have plans for some other landscaping too, like this. I want to move somewhere and do something different here. And then, like I said, we have not hardly done any landscaping. I dug out flower beds, like mulched beds last year, but the mulch needs to be replaced now, and I might even restructure some of the beds. And then I want to do some shrubs and lavender and some different things. There's just lots and lots of things I want to do all the time. But for the farm side of things, for the homestead side of things, let's start with our chickens. So here is a quick bird's eye view for anyone who's a bit more visual like me and just needs to see a layout. Our main house is right here at the front on the corner of the two roads. And then behind us, we actually have a rental property that my grandmother lives in. Over to the side, we have a 3-bay barn with chickens behind, garden in front. And then on the back corner, we have a small metal storage building. Okay, so this is kind of on the back corner of our property. We have this storage building over here because we have no basement, attic, or crawl space and very limited closet storage in our home. So most of the things go there. We have this stand for firewood that my husband built a while back. We don't have a wood burning fireplace inside. We do have gas logs for heat if the power goes out, but we have a burn pile over here that we use if we have down trees or anything around our yard. We have these 2 beautiful oak trees that are, I would love to know how old they are, but as beautiful as they are, they also terrify me because they drop limbs all the time. Like storms, absolutely. Even on sunny days though, they will drop a limb like for no reason at all. Yeah, I know we should get it checked out, but maybe one day. So here's our compost bin. We've been using a lot out of it to put into some raised beds that I will show you in a minute. My husband built those recently, so we're trying to get those prepped and ready for this garden season. And then we also need to get better about replenishing our compost because we used to do it very regularly, and right now we do not. And then this is our chicken coop. My husband also built this. He's very good at carpentry. He just is slow and also doesn't give himself enough credit. But this is our chicken coop. It has held up to 5 or 6 chickens at one time, I believe. But right now we are down to 1. So it has 3 nesting boxes and then just a little run in the bottom. Hey, bud. But we typically let them free range. Now I will say that's kind of been difficult because we've lost so many chickens, most often because they've wandered off, not even because of predators. Like we live so close to town that we don't have to worry about a ton of predator situations. Even like hawks and stuff, thankfully we've not had a big issue with, but we did have a dog issue. They got a couple of them, but for the most part they've just wandered off or ran off, or we got them from someone and I think maybe they were sick before we got them. So either way, our rooster is hanging in there strong. He actually was one that we rose up from a chick. We lost a couple that we got at the same time as him. They were chicks and they just had like weird little sicknesses or whatever, you know, life of chickens. But we do want to get several more once the weather warms back up. We have power ran out to this barn, but we don't have it connected. So we don't really have a way for like a heat lamp or anything like that. But in saying that, my husband, Nicholas is his name, by the way. My name is Megan. Sorry, I probably should have done introductions to begin with. But Nicholas really would love to add on to this chicken coop in the near future, like a huge run that kind of goes from there almost all the way over to the barn. And that way it would have like an opening enclosure right here somewhere so that we could allow the chickens to run there often and then close it off at night for more protection, because we don't know if it would have a roof over the top or not. But that way they would have more of an area to range without having to be out all the time. And then it would also allow us to get more chickens and in time possibly add more nesting boxes on this side of the coop and, you know, have a larger quantity of eggs, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. Okay, and so this is one of my very favorite things that came with this house. It's this huge, beautiful 3-bay barn that we don't use for like anything. Isn't that sad? I've always said that I wanted a dairy cow, but we don't obviously have land for a dairy cow to like feed in the pastures of. So I don't know, this land over here might be doable because it goes back, but that is our neighbor's property, so it's not even ours. For now, it holds the children's toys, some of them, if they get put up. Otherwise, they are all out here because this actually is what we try to keep for the kids' play area. It's a really good space. It is large and flat, and I would love to add some landscaping like shrubbery around the borders. And Rosie has been, my oldest 4-year-old daughter Rosie has been asking for a fairy garden, which I did for her a couple years ago, and I guess she was too young. So now I think maybe we're going to make one around that tree or like inside one of the garden corners somewhere. I don't fully know yet, but I would also love to make this area a bit more entertainment focused. Like, I don't want to take away from any of the kids' space to run and play freely, but we do host a lot of birthday parties out here, and that way we would be able to have maybe some more like permanent picnic tables and like a fire pit or something. I don't want that too close to the kids' stuff, but you know what I mean. That way it's just more like family focused instead of just kid focused, and that way we can have a bit more privacy, a bit more child safety when we do have those kinds of events. Usually it's not that big of a deal, but got something in my crock. Okay, so for the garden, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we did it last year as trucks roar by. So last year we had a bed along this side that consisted of potatoes. Back here along the back, or along the roadside, we had watermelon and then strawberries. Up here along the front, we had corn, squash, green beans. We did the Three Sisters method. And then over here along the right hand side, we did tomatoes. And then in like the corners, I had flowers. And let's see what else. In the middle, I had 3 beds going this direction, and this one was okra, this one was carrots and peppers, and then this one was spinach and lettuce. So we did a lot of stuff last year, but we did not get much of any of it because obviously there was so much stuff and it's just not a super huge space. So like, what are you gonna do? We also had the cucumber trellis over here, but I've just not had great luck with cucumbers or squash. Now, a ton of people in our area do. And so I'm not even going to try those this year because I don't feel like I need to. Like, I can just trade stuff with people around me, and people are so generous where we live. People are always like giving us that kind of stuff anyways. So there's always an abundance, and that's easily found nearby. So this year, what I plan on actually doing is I want to use grow bags for a whole bunch of tomato plants because I want to do a ton of sauces. I love tomatoes on everything, so I just want a whole bunch of them. But our soil here is very clay-like. It's still being amended. Last year was the first year that we actually dug. We tilled last year. I do not plan on tilling ever again if I can help it, because I just wanted to do it once to get a clean slate, and then from there to continue amending the soil and working with what we've already been doing. We actually tried no dig the very first year, 2 years ago, that we gardened, and it did not go well. It was really small. It was like a 10-foot by 16-foot garden, and we were just kind of getting our feet wet and seeing how to grow things. We had both had very little experience with gardening before that, so we were just kind of trying it out. And last year we just decided to go ahead and till. It was not worth it, but now I want the soil to be able to do its thing and us not mess with it beyond like giving it some aid here and there. So I'm wanting to do a lot of tomatoes in grow bags in these raised bed planters that my husband recently built for me. I want to do, I say for me, I guess for us. Gardening's more my thing, and then chickens are more his thing, but we try to help each other and like somewhat learn about each other's stuff. I don't know. I would much rather just enjoy the eggs of chickens and like take them food sometimes and water. I don't like all the dirt work of chickens, and he really doesn't care that much about the hard labor of gardening, so it works out fine. We stay in our lanes for the most part, but in the raised beds I want to do root vegetables, so carrots and potatoes, lots of those, and then I want to do pole beans everywhere around. I would love to have like a picket fence or some kind of taller fencing so that we don't have to use so many trellises, but either way, I just want a bunch of green beans, and then corn. Definitely want corn. These are the things that I know that we will eat all year round. We could eat them every night as our 2 or 3 sides for meat and never have enough of them. So, I mean, other than tomatoes, but like I said, I use those for everything. So I want to do those specific vegetables and do a bunch of them. We have a chest freezer in a family building not far from here. So anything that we have in abundance, I don't know how to can, at least not yet. I would love to learn, but we freeze. And it's very simple to freeze, which I love. So that would be the plan for that. And then the rest of the garden, you ask, I would love to do flowers. That's what I'm planning on. It's all flowers. I have always wanted to have a U-pick flower farm, but it's just not panned out, at least until now. So if nothing else, I would love to have a cut flower garden, and that's where we're starting. We're gonna do flowers all throughout the garden, all around our house. We're gonna incorporate it into the landscaping. I have a ton of bulbs and seeds and starters and all kinds of things just waiting for the last frost to pass. And then the last couple of things I have are like berry bushes, berry groves. I don't know what you'd call those, but let me just show you. This is my elderberry plant. We have an Amish market that's not very far from us, and I love to get a handful of my plants from there. I'll probably try to get my strawberry starters from there again this year as well. They're so trustworthy and they do so well. This plant has grown several feet in the first year and a half that I've had it. I guess close to 2 years, but very excited for that. I love to make elderberry syrup. Stick around for that. And I would love to have an abundance of berries from my own garden that I can use for that. And then this guy is a blueberry bush. Maybe somebody can give me more information than I've been able to find over the last, this will be the 3rd year that I've had this bush. And I have tried to treat the soil, like wondering if maybe the pH just isn't right, if it's too acidic, if it's not acidic enough. I think it's not been acidic enough. Like I've added some coffee grounds and stuff. I don't know, but every year it looks so dead. Like it kind of keeps this brown look for a while. And then as soon as I'm about to pull it up out of the ground and compost it, it gets a green shoot. And it has yet to produce a berry, but like I said, this is the 3rd year that we will have had it. And what I read last year was that sometimes blueberry bushes take 3 years to bear fruit. I had never heard that before, but I was giving it one more year to see. If it doesn't do anything this year though, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Like I said, our soil can be so compact and clay-like that I don't know if it's just in a bad spot or what the deal is, but I really want some blueberries. I want those massive blueberry bushes that are just overflowing, that you have to make pies in order to keep up with the production of them, and that's not what that is so far. And then this is our backyard, my grandmother's front yard. Sometimes we play out here. Obviously there's a baseball tee over there, but not a ton, because it's just easier for things to go into the road and our girls to try and run out into it. So this could be potentially used down the road as a larger garden area. I would only use it for flowers though, because our septic tank sits like right here, and then all of the drain lines run that way. So anything like for chickens or crop gardening, I wouldn't really want them to be over our drain lines. So in the near future, some things that you can expect to see is definitely included but not limited to landscaping, starting back up our garden, hopefully a cut flower garden. I feel like this is so dark. Sorry if that was like super dark. Possibly like entertainment space creating, which I don't know, maybe that's a bit more of homemaking. Hopefully some more chickens. I would absolutely love pigs. I say that, I've never had pigs. I would love sausage and pork and bacon, but I don't know about all the rest. So ideally where he's putting the extension of our chicken coop, I think would be a good place for pigs, but maybe even in the barn. Maybe we can move some things around and have pigs in the barn. I don't know. Clearly, I'm just spouting things off. I like to come up with a bunch of ideas and bite off way more than I can chew, and he's more practical and sensible about things, which is why we work well together. We have also discussed chicken tractors. We would love to do meat birds. So there's that. Once again, do not know where we would put them, but in our current season of life and in this current economy, we just don't foresee going anywhere anytime soon. So we're gonna do what we can, where we can, with what we can, and to the best that we can. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you will subscribe, turn on notifications so that you can keep up, so that maybe we can do all of this alongside each other and together. And I hope you're having a great day wherever you're at. I'll catch you next time. Bye guys.